Hello viewers, a very good evening to all of you, and in this video I shall try to discuss literary theory paper of Dibrugarh University, and literary theory paper exam it was held today. And in this video I will try to only talk about the questions. I will not talk what kind of thing you should have written or what kind of thing you should have mentioned. That kind of thing I will not talk. I will just talk about the question, okay, and what I have already given or said in my videos. That's all. Okay, whatever you have written, whatever you have not written, that is not my matter of concern. Okay, so without any delay, let's begin the discussion. So the paper name is, I have already told you, literary theory, and the first question was from, as you all know, from the unit 1 Marxism. So question 1, answer any one of the following questions and it carries 15 marks. So the first question of 15 marks from Marxism is, how does Gramsci distinguish civil society and political society in connection to the function of intellectuals in society? The video of this unit I have already uploaded in my YouTube channel. I think 2 or 3 months ago, and most of you might have watched that video. And if you have watched that video, that means you must have been able to answer this question. Okay, so it was very simple. The question was asking that how does Antonio Gramsci, he has tried to distinguish, or he has tried to separate civil society and political society in the context of intellectuals in the society. I have already mentioned in my video there are two kinds of intellectuals in society. One was organic intellectuals and other was maybe non-organic. I am not able to recall right now, but if you have watched that video, then it must have been pretty easy for you. Okay, and for me, according to me, it was not so tough question. Okay, it was a very basic question, and if you have read the essay or if you have watched the video, then it must be quite easy for you. Okay, now let's move on to our next question, and the next question B is, all ideology hails or interpellates concrete individuals as concrete subjects. Inverted comma close, discuss Althusser's concept of the subject in the light of this statement. So here, one uh, statement is given from the Althusser's own essay. So if you have read that essay, okay, and you should have read that essay, because you should always try to read the preliminary or the original text first. Then you try to fetch information from different sources. Okay, so from that essay, these lines are taken, and this line is saying all ideology hails or interpellates concrete individuals as concrete subjects. So on the basis of this statement, we have to critique the uh, concept of Marxism as put forwarded by Althusser. Okay, that's it. Now let's go on with our next question. Next question, it is also for 15 marks, and number C, number 1 and C question, and it is like this. For Gramsci, hegemony operates through civil society. Discussed with reference to his essay, The Formation of the Intellectuals. This also I have uploaded a video, and I have also tried to simplify the concept of the formation of the intellectuals by the Gramsci. And if you have watched or if you have read the original text, then it must have been pretty effortless for you. That will be known to you. And in this video, you have to write only the relevance of hegemony and how it operates in civil society. That's it. And you have to take inspiration or influence from this essay, The Formation of the Intellectuals. That's it. Now let's try to move on to our next question. Next question is number 2. Answer any one of the following questions, and it is for 5 marks. And number 1 question is, how can Gramsci's theory of hegemony be applied to read literary texts? So this is 2, not so tough. So the question is asking, how can Gramsci's theory of hegemony be applied to read literary text? Means when you will read literary text, how will you apply Gramsci's theory of hegemony? Hegemony means, you all know that simply the literal meaning of hegemony is dominance. Okay, and you have to read that in the context of Marxism. Okay, and that I have already discussed in my some videos. Okay, so it was 2, not so tough. And if you have chosen this video or this question, then you must have been able to written this thing. Next question. Number B is saying, what role do intellectuals play in the maintenance or subversion of hegemonic control? This is too not so tough. The question is ostensibly simple, and it is asking what role do intellectuals play in the maintenance or subversion of hegemonic control. Okay, uh, I I don't feel I should further discuss this. Okay, if you read the question, then automatically you will know what you should write. Let's go to the next question, and the next question is, and it's 2 for 5 mark. What does Althusser mean by reproduction of the means of production and reproduction of labor power in the context of ideology? Ideology, I have already told you, it is referring to Marxism. If you don't know what is Marxism, then it will be quite difficult for you to write this thing. Okay? In Marxism, you will get means of production and reproduction of labor power, and this I have already made a separate video, and that is titled as "What is Socialism? What is Marxism? What is Capitalism? What is uh, Leninism?" This all I have discussed in a separate video, and if you have watched that video, then this is too not so tough for you, and you should have written this thing in the context of what do you call it? This Althusser's essay. Okay. No, okay. Now let's move on to our next question. Next question is Unit 2, and it is related to feminism. Number 1 question is answer any one of the following questions, and it carries 15 marks. Number A is saying critically respond to the idea of female literary tradition in relation to Showalter's essay 20 years on a literature of their own revisited. This is too not so tough question, because it is simply asking the basic thing that critically we have to respond the idea of female literary tradition as mentioned in the essay 20 years on a literature of their own revisited by Alan Showalter. These two I have already discussed. If you have read the text, or if you watched that video once, twice, thrice, then it must have been pretty clear to you. That will be known to you. What will I say here? Okay, next question. How does Irigaray contend that homosexuality and homosociality exist in society? Examine critically. It is too simple. You have to mention how Louis Irigaray has tried to delineate the dominance of homosexuality and homosociality in our patriarchal society. Okay, this I have already told you that in patriarchal society, homosociality, it is always respected and appreciated. On the other hand, homosexuality is never admired or accepted at any cost, because that will create unnecessary disorder, according to or rampage, according to Louis Irigaray. That's why the writer is saying that that's why all the goods, means all the women should get together and sorry, I must have said very loudly. Okay, now let's go on to the next question. How does Irigaray relate sexuality and trade? So this is the very simple. The basic thing of this Louis Irigaray's when the goods get together chapter was sexuality and trade. Okay, so it is quite simple. Okay, now let's go on to the next question, and the next question is answer any one of the following questions. And the question is asking, discuss after Ellen Showalter the concept of new women, and the B is asking comment on the concept of trading of women as presented by Irigaray in her essay When the Goods Get Together. It is too very simple here. You have to write how women are perceived, how women are treated and considered in the business or in the commercial sector by the patriarchal society. These two I have already discussed. And the next question, it is to only for 5 marks, and it is saying briefly comment on Irigaray's critique of fraud. Sigmund Freud, we all know. If you have read the text, then it must have been pretty easy for you. And or if you have both my notes, then it must have been mentioned in that note that Sigmund Freud, he has mentioned about the penis envy, and Louis Irigaray, she has utterly rejected and discarded this idea of penis envy, okay, or penis envy. So this thing you must have written. Next question, Unit 3, and this chapter is, this unit is related to post-structuralism. And first question, answer any of the following question. It carries 15 marks. Discuss how Derrida overturns Western notions about structure, center, and the structurality of structure. These two I have discussed. Here you have to write how Jacques Derrida has tried to overturn Western's thinking or concept about the structure and about the center and about the structurality of the structure. Okay, next question is asking, discuss focus critique of the concepts of ideology and repression in the elaboration of his theory of power. I have already told you, I have already made a video on this topic about the truth and power, and there I have already discussed how truth becomes power and how power becomes truth. Okay, so this thing you should have written here, or you must have added this thing, whatever I've said. And the next question is asking, for Derrida, the center closes off the play, which it opens up and makes possible. Discuss the idea of the center in governing the operations within any structure. So this question, this thing, these lines, this line is actually taken from the essay itself. So you have to write your answer on the basis of this statement. But if you have not been able to write about the given statement, then that was okay. If you have written the main points from the essay, then it will suffice, because it carries only, if I'm not wrong, oh no, you should have written a little bit more, and it carries 15 marks. And the next question, it is asking, answer any one of the following questions. It carries 5 marks. And number 6A is briefly outline focus theory of power. Focus theory of power, here it is already given in a long question form, and but here you can write the same thing but in a very brief way. And the next question is 6B, in what way Derrida brings in Claude Lévi-Strauss to his discussion. Now let's go on to the next question. Next question is number C, discuss briefly anyone, structure and anti-structuralism, decentering the center. Next question, Unit 4, Postcolonial Studies. It carries 15 marks. Answer any one of the following questions. Number A, 7A, how does Mahatma Gandhi explain passive resistance in his words? What is passive resistance, and what is the theory of Mahatma Gandhi? This I have already conspicuously discussed and depicted in my video. You must have watched that, and you must, this is not so tough, and you must have been able to write about it. And the next question is, how does Edward Said discuss Orientalism as a way of defining and locating Europe's other examine? This I have already made a very elaborative video. You must have seen, and you must have been able to do it, if I'm not wrong. Next question, number C, for 15 mark, how does Aziz Ahmad problematize the category of Indian literature? Discuss. It is one of the easiest questions, according to me, because I have already discussed the problem of why we cannot call Indian literature in a category Indian literature. I have already talked and discussed. And this was too simple. And the next question, number 8, answer any one of the following questions. It carries 5 marks. Number A, discuss Gandhi's view on education as elaborated in Hind Swaraj. This too I have already discussed. It was too easy. Number B, what is the crisis referred to in Edward Said's Orientalism? This was too I have already discussed. Number C, discuss in brief the institutional problems encountered while talking of a separate entity such as Indian literature. I have already told you, Indian literature in India, we lack enthusiasm for research. Okay, that all thing you have to write. And number D, how does Ahmad link Indian culture and language with Indian literature? It was pretty simple, because we have already discussed in the video of Indian literature by Aziz Ahmad that in India there are numerous literature, language, and India is full of diversity. And there you cannot make one literature that is called Indian literature, and that cannot be possible. And there were many countless reasons why, and that too I have already discussed. And I hope your exam was magnificent. Thank you so much for watching the video. Bye bye.